There are things you've buried deep, promises you once held close, dreams that used to set your heart on fire, words you received in faith, now covered by layers of disappointment, silence, and delay. But God says today, let me ignite what you've buried. Let me breathe on what you tried to forget. Let me awaken what you called impossible. You buried it because time passed, because nothing seemed to move, because the pain of waiting became louder than the voice of hope. So you shoved it beneath the surface, covered it with logic, masked it with busyness, and told yourself it must not have been God. But the Lord declares, what I placed in you still burns in me, and I'm ready to set it ablaze again. You thought you were burying something dead, but in my kingdom, what looks buried is often planted. What looks dormant is often deepening. What looks forgotten is actually waiting for divine fire. And that fire is here now. I have come not to rebuke you, but to reignite you. Not to condemn your silence, but to call your spirit to attention. This is not the end of the story. It's the beginning of revival. So open your heart again. Yes, even after the delay, even after the disappointment, even after the doors that slammed shut and the voices that mocked you for believing. I am the God who finishes what I start, and I did not give you those dreams to watch them die. I did not speak those promises to let them decay in the ground of regret. I gave them because they carry my purpose, and I'm not done with you. This fire will not come to destroy. It will come to purify. It will come to reveal. It will come to consume every excuse and every fear that told you to let go. The flame of my presence is coming to the altar of your surrender, and I will burn again what the enemy tried to silence. You think it's too late, but I say it's right on time. You think you're not ready, but I say you're exactly where I want you. You think it's over, but I say, watch me breathe on it. Let me ignite what you've buried. The world may have moved on, but I haven't. I saw you when you cried yourself to sleep because the weight of unfulfilled purpose pressed too hard. I heard your silent whispers, wondering if I still see you. I never left. I never turned away. I was holding the match the entire time, waiting for the moment your heart would say, God, if you still want it, I do too. And here we are. Today is that moment. Right now is that turning. My spirit is hovering, and my fire is falling. Will you open your heart again? Will you dare to believe again? Will you dig up what you buried, not to relive the pain, but to resurrect the promise? Because what I placed in you was never meant to rot. It was meant to rise. There is glory in your surrender. There is power in your yes. There is fire in your bones, still waiting to erupt. Don't let the ashes define the future. Let the ashes be the soil where I ignite new beginnings. Let the flame of my word consume the fear of failure. Let the whisper of my presence silence the noise of doubt. Because once I start burning, nothing stays the same. You've settled for surviving when I called you to set things ablaze. You've convinced yourself that maybe the dream was just a distraction. Maybe the calling was only for a season. But I say no. That thing inside you, it was never about your timeline. It was always about mine. And now, I'm stirring the embers. I'm reigniting the vision. I'm calling your buried promise back to the surface. You don't need more clarity. You need more fire. You don't need another confirmation. You need to open your hands and say, God, light it again. Because when I ignite what's been buried, I don't bring it back in the form you left it. I bring it back refined. I bring it back stronger. I bring it back dripping with my glory. You tried to bury the fire because it burned you once. You trusted. You obeyed. And it led you into pain. But pain doesn't cancel purpose. Delay doesn't cancel destiny. I use pain to deepen the roots of your faith. I use delay to refine the motives of your heart. I never forgot what I promised, and I never stopped watching over my word to perform it. So lift your head, wipe the dirt from your hands, clear the dust off the altar, because I'm lighting it again. You may not feel ready. You may still be wounded, but I specialize in igniting broken vessels. I breathe on what others walk past. I raise what others leave for dead. You think your dream needs perfection. I say it needs my flame. This is the hour of holy ignition. Right now, if your heart is burning again, if this word is reaching the places you thought were numb, don't let it fade. Like, comment, and share this message so others can be awakened too. Subscribe to stay connected to these prophetic words that stir and ignite. We're not here to entertain. We're here to set hearts ablaze with purpose again. Listen closely. You haven't lost your calling. You haven't missed your moment. What you buried didn't die. It's been waiting for fire, waiting for surrender, waiting for my voice to call it back. And now I'm calling, loud, clear, undeniable. Let me ignite what you've buried. Let me breathe where you stopped. Let me light what you thought was lost. Because once I ignite it, you won't be able to contain it. Once I set it on fire, no storm can put it out. Once I move, no voice can stop it. What you buried in fear, I will now use as a weapon of fire. What you tried to silence will now become a roar. What you hid in shame will become a testimony of glory. You are not done. You are not disqualified. You are not empty. You are the vessel I've been waiting to fill again. You are the altar I'm coming to with flame. You are the dreamer I never stopped believing in. So dig it up, dust it off, surrender it, and stand back, because my fire is coming. And when my fire comes, it doesn't just light what was buried, it spreads, it moves, it multiplies, it touches everything around you. That's why the enemy fought so hard to keep you silent, because one spark of surrender becomes a wildfire of purpose. One flame of obedience becomes a blaze that consumes everything stagnant, stuck, and suffocating. You were made for this, not to hide your flame, but to carry it. Not to extinguish the fire, but to release it. The world is not waiting for perfect people. It's waiting for burning ones, burning with conviction, burning with purity, burning with prophetic purpose. And that's who you are. That's who you've always been, even when you tried to bury it beneath fear. Let me remind you of who you are. You are not the mistake you made. You are not the silence you sat in. You are not the grave you dug for your calling. You are the one I chose, the one I marked, the one I equipped for such a time as this. I see the flame still flickering. I see the ember still alive, and I have come to fan it into fire. No more excuses, no more waiting for perfect alignment, no more bargaining with what you already know I've spoken. Rise, return, reignite. The time is now. The call is now. The fire is now. Let me ignite what you've buried, and watch what happens when glory touches what you thought was gone forever. Watch what happens when heaven breathes on the dust. Watch what happens when resurrection meets surrender. This is your hour, so say yes again. Say yes with trembling hands. Say yes with uncertain eyes. Say yes with whatever you have left. Because the moment you say yes, I'll send the flame, and nothing in your life will ever be the same. The fire I bring is not for display, it is for transformation. It will consume what bound you. It will expose what limited you. It will purify what weakened you. But it will not destroy you. It will deliver you. You've been praying for freedom, and I've been waiting for your surrender. Because when you open what you buried, I pour out what you've lacked. Courage, clarity, conviction. You buried it because the waiting was long. You buried it because the enemy whispered lies too often. You buried it because others didn't believe. But I believed. I never stopped. And now I'm coming for what belongs to me. That dream was mine. That vision was mine. That purpose was always mine through you. So let me touch it again. Don't fear what happens when fire touches your life. Fear what happens when you choose to stay cold. I didn't make you to blend in. I didn't raise you to settle. I didn't call you to bury gold and pretend it was never there. I called you to blaze. I called you to rise. I called you to release what shakes the atmosphere around you. You feel it already, don't you? The shaking in your chest, the stirring in your bones. That is not hype. That is not emotion. That is my fire touching your memory, touching your identity, touching your buried treasure. I am unearthing what you left behind, and I am igniting what once felt forgotten. So step into the flame, lay it all down, lift it all up. Let me make you an altar. Let me turn your life into a torch. Because once I ignite it, you'll never go back to the silence again. This is not just your restoration, it's your commissioning. The world needs your fire, and I am ready to light it now. You thought it was over, but I am just beginning. You thought the fire was gone, but I never let it die. You thought what you buried would never breathe again, but watch as I raise it in full flame. Watch as I breathe and what was hidden starts to roar. Watch as the world sees what I always saw. This is the sound of resurrection, the crackle of dry dreams catching flame. The voice of the Lord saying, I still want what I gave you. So lift your head, child. Open your heart. Let me ignite what you've buried, and let the world watch you burn for my glory.